take the blessings of Let us take the blessings of ISKCON Sheshatripuram deities here. Jagannath Baldev Shubhadra Maiya ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Vamnadev ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vamnadev ki jai, Nitya Chaitanya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai, Gurudev ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam ena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Hiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome, devotees. Today we are going to see 8th chapter, Attaining the Supreme, and the 4th shloka in that. 8.4. Adibhutam Sharo Bhava Purashaschadi Daivatam Adiyagnoham Yevatra Dehe Dehabhritam Varaha. Adibhutam Sharo Bhava Purushashchadi Daivatam Adiyagnoham Yevatra Dehe Dehabhritam Vara. Translation by Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adiyagnya, that is the Lord of the sacrifice. Very beautiful shloka today. So here, Krishna has answered 3 questions of Arjuna in the previous shloka. Now he's answering the next 4 questions what Arjuna has raised. And he's answering the next 4 questions in this shloka. So here he says, Deha Britam Vara. Deha Britam Vara is like Krishna is addressing Arjuna, saying, oh, the best of embodied living being. Adibhutam Sharobhava. Sharobhava. He's saying constantly changing physical nature is called Adibhuta. Adibhutam Sharobhava. The constantly changing physical nature is called Adibhutam. Adibhuta. And then Purushas Chadi Adidaivatam. So he's saying the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, that is called Adidaiva. So here he says, what is Adidaiva also? The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods. And then Adiyagnoham Evatra. So here he says, I, the super soul, I is like Krishna is representing, Krishna is saying about him. I, the super soul, who is there in the heart of everyone as Paramatma, is called as Adiyagnya, or the Lord of sacrifices. Adiyagnoham Yevatra. He's saying that I, the Lord, who is just residing in everyone's heart as Paramatma, is the Adi Yajna. So here, Krishna has answered all the 4 questions of Arjuna, describing each and everything. Now we will just get deep into this. What is Adibhuta? Krishna has explained us. So we will get into a little bit deeper into that Adibhuta. The physical nature is constantly changing. Example, material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. He is also like here Prabhupada is telling in his purport. The physical body constantly changes and it goes through 6 stages. Those are like born, they are getting born, they grow, they remain for some duration like that, and they produce some byproducts, getting children's and those things, and then they dwindle. After that, that stage, old age stage, they dwindle and then they vanish. So here, this is the different stages. Here is given in the purport in a very clear form to explain Adibhuta. So the physical nature is always changing. It is temporary. For example, we can take an apple. If we just keep an apple in the same place for some time, what happens to it? It just slowly shrinks, right? It slowly shrinks and it gets decomposed and finally it vanishes. So it's like similarly all the physical nature, it is like temporary. It automatically changes. That's why like that is what is Adibhuta. Krishna is saying that in this material world everything is changing. So this temporary thing, this is called Adibhuta. The physical nature, he is representing it as Adibhuta. And then the conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called Adi Daivata. So we are now like Prabhupada is describing about Adi Daivata. Adi Daivata, the universal form of the Lord, is called as Virata Rupa. Most of the people know. The universal form of the Lord is called Virata Rupa. This is the understanding for the form of the Supreme Person in the physical form. We're just understanding the Supreme Lord in this physical form, Virata Rupa form. This Virata Rupa form includes all the planetary systems and all the Devi Devatas in him. So all the planetary systems, upper planetary systems and the lower planetary systems, everything. Example also Prabhupada is like describing here. Virata Purusha, whose legs are considered the lower planets. So Virata Purusha's legs are compared to as said as the lower planets. The lower planets are Atala, Vitala, Sutala, and till the Patala. They are all said has legs, and whose eyes are considered the sun and moon. The sun and moon, the eyes are considered like that, and whose head is considered the upper planetary system. So the Virata Rupa's head is considered the upper planetary system, still the Brahma Loka. So this is called Adi Daiva. So who should meditate on this Virata Rupa form? This has also been explained here. The gigantic universal form of the Lord, called Adi Daivata, is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as super soul. So for the neophytes who are not able, who cannot approach the Supreme Lord as the Paramatma form, in the Paramatma form, as Krishna, they only should meditate on this Virata Rupa form. So it's very clearly, Prabhupada is giving us very clearly who should meditate on this Virata Rupa form. And from here we understood what is Adi Daiva also. So the next one is here, present in the body along with the individual soul is a super soul, a plenary representation of the Lord Krishna. The super soul is called the Paramatma or Adi Yajna and is situated in the heart. Now we are talking about Adi Yajna. The word Eva is particularly important in the context of this verse. Why? It is because by this word, the Lord stresses that the Paramatma is not different from him. Krishna says, he is Paramatma. Paramatma is not different from him. The super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead, seated beside the individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of the soul's various type of consciousness. So here we can just take a very nice analogy given in Katot Upanishad. So here, this body of ours is considered as a tree. In the tree, there are two birds. So one bird is simply sitting and watching the other bird. The other bird is trying to enjoy the fruits of the tree. So the bird who is trying to enjoy the fruits of the tree is nothing but the Jivatma. So it's eating all the fruits of the tree. It is performing its karma. The other bird is none other than the super soul, the Paramatma. So what is Paramatma doing here? He is simply watching the other bird, what it is doing. He is watching Upadrishta. And then what is he doing? He's sanctioning whatever the Jivatma wanted to do. He is sanctioning, he is Anumanta. He is sanctioning depending on the karma, previous karma, what that particular living entity has done. So this is a very nice analogy of Paramatma living in each and every living entity's heart. So this is a very basic Paramatma futures. Of course, there are a lot of other aspects to that which we are going to just see in the coming chapters. So this is a very important feature of Paramatma. So he is Upadrishta, he is watching, and also he is sanctioning. He is Anumanta too. So this is what, like Adi Yajna, Lord of the sacrifice. The Paramatma is the Lord of the sacrifice. And where is he? He is sitting in the heart of every living entity as Paramatma. So we got to know Adi Yajna also. So these two questions are very clear. Who is Adi Yajna? The Paramatma. And where is he residing? He is residing in the heart of every living entity. So the Paramatma feature of the Lord is very, very merciful. Here, Prabhupada gives us very nice explanation about this to us. Yeah, the Supreme Soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witness his activities. So the Paramatma feature is very merciful. He has given us the free will to act according to our choices. So he does give the free will to every living entities and allow us to do whatever we want. Here it is like we have birth, which is B, and we have death, which is D. So in between this B and D, we have C, which we are given with the choices. So that C, how we are going to decide with the choice. The choice is based on our free will, what Paramatma has given to us. So based on the choice which we are taking, that gives us our destination. So obviously, when we take our decisions based on our free will, when the choices are there, obviously Paramatma gives us a trigger, which is good and which is bad. But what is happening to us is we are in a very unfortunate situation that we are completely conditioned in this material world where we are not able to hear what Paramatma is just triggering us, what Paramatma is advising us. We are not able to hear him. So, and he does something which actually the living entity is not able to hear what Paramatma says because he's completely conditioned. And finally, what happens is it pulls the decision what he takes in between this B and D because of his free will. The decision what he takes, it just pulls his conscious down, and eventually he's being pulled to the lowest species of life too. Therefore, the free will has to be utilized properly. The free will given to us by Krishna has to be utilized in a very nice way. The choices which we take, due to our free will, should be in such a way that we should not get drowned in this material world. So if the free will, if the choice which we are taking is more material, then definitely it is for sure that we are going to get drowned in this material world. So whatever we are supposed to choose, when we have two things, like material sense gratification and Krishna in devotional service. When these two choices are there, the material sense gratification, which is a time pass in this material world, when these two choices are given, obviously the living entity is going to select the material sense gratification, right? If that is the case, then definitely they're going to get drowned in this material world. But as a devotee, we should keep thinking before taking a decision, before choosing anything. We should be thinking, will this choice which I am taking is making me to go closer to Krishna or not? If yes, then proceed. If no, then stop. We are not taking that choice, what is given to us. If it is not, if that choice is not taking us closer to Krishna, then a smart devotee will not take that choice. This is how we should just decide on the choices. This is how we should utilize our free will, which is gifted for us to Krishna. That is, Krishna is so merciful. The biggest thing he has gifted us with, the free will. So we should utilize that, how we are going to go closer to Krishna. So if we choose the choice of time pass in this world, the material sense gratification, then we will be drowned. But if we choose Krishna, then our conscious will be evolved. We will evolve in our consciousness. Eventually, what will happen is we'll go back home to Godhead in this very lifetime itself. So this understanding should be there for us. The decisions what we taking, the choices what we are taking, should make us to go forward in our spiritual path, go closer to Krishna. So if those choices which are making us to go far away from Krishna, then the choices are not for us. So that is how a smart devotee selects his options, whatever is given in front of him. So after answering all these 7 questions, now Krishna is answering a very, very important question. The destination of a soul, where it goes after leaving the body. What is the conscious of the what is the state of conscious of the body when the soul is leaving? Everything matters. So Krishna is talking explicitly about this in the following verses. So let us all be very eager to attend to tomorrow's class too. Thank you, Matajis and Prabhujis. Hare Krishna. Any doubts and comments, please welcome.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That